All right, buckle up. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something that's constantly evolving beneath our feet, especially if you interact with the biggest online marketplace on the planet, Amazon.
Yeah, it changes so fast.
Totally. We're talking about the incredible evolution of Amazon's advertising industry and maybe more importantly, where its ranking memory systems are headed. And it's all driven by some seriously powerful artificial intelligence.
Right. The AI is key here.
Think about it for a second. When you search on Amazon, how does the system decide which product shows up first? Not just the organic results, but, the sponsored ones right alongside them. And how does everything that product or seller has done in the past, like yesterday, last week, even last year, influence where it ranks today?
That's the core idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ranking memory.
Exactly. That's where our deep dive takes us. We've got sources that trace this journey from Amazon's early days all the way through to some pretty exciting glimpses of the future.
It's been quite a ride to that system.
So our mission today is to explore this wild ride of Amazon's advertising evolution. We'll start with the foundational A9 algorithm, move through the really significant A10 transition, and land on the complex AI-driven ecosystem we see right now in 2025.
And then look ahead.
And then look ahead. Peer into what's coming next. We'll look at specific tech like quantum computing, how keywords and that whole paid organic relationship will change, and the increasingly powerful role AI plays in shaping that crucial ranking memory.
Got it.
We're going to dig into the concepts, all the data points, and what it all means for you, whether you're an advertiser, a seller, or, just someone shopping on Amazon. Let's unpack this.
Sounds good. It really is a system that's undergone like a dramatic transformation.
Yeah.
Just light years from where it started.
Yeah.
And it's all driven by this ever-growing pool of data and Amazon's relentless push to perfectly match what a buyer wants with the right product, ad or organic listing.
So where did this all start? It definitely wasn't always this complex interconnected network we see now.
No, exactly. If we trace it back, we land in what people usually call the A9 era, roughly the 2010s up until about 2023.
Okay, A9, the bedrock. What was its main focus? Like, what was driving it?
A9 was, well, fundamentally built as a sales engine. Its absolute core priority was direct sales velocity, how quickly a product was selling directly on Amazon.
Just pure sales speed.
Pretty much. And alongside that, a major factor was keyword relevance. How well did the keywords advertisers were bidding on match the user's exact search?
And getting ads seen back then, was it mainly about who paid the most?
Bid amounts were hugely influential, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for those exact match keywords. Advertisers were basically competing in what's called a classic second price auction.
Right, you paid just over the next guy.
Exactly. You'd pay just a little more than the next highest bidder.
Got it. And what metrics told A9 a product was doing well? What did it like?
The metrics that mattered most were very conversion-centric. Products with high click-through rates, CTR, how often people click the ad, and high conversion rates, CVR, how often clicks turned into sales, they were strongly pursued.
Makes sense.
And our sources actually give specific thresholds here. A CTR of 0.4% or higher and a CVR of 8% or higher. Those are like significant signals for the algorithm.
Wow, specific numbers.
Yeah, and this created this powerful cycle.
Yeah.
Products already doing well tended to get even more visibility. Success bred more success.
So really driven by those on-platform sales metrics. What about traffic coming from outside Amazon? Did A9 care about that?
Not really. A9 had very limited off-platform integration. It pretty much ignored traffic coming from outside.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of how much weight was put on that internal performance, a study, this was 10,000 products campaign, back then found A9 gave 70% of ad visibility to listings that already had historical sales velocities in the top quarter.
The top 25% performers.
Right, the top 25%. And it did this regardless of how good the content on the actual product page was. It was heavily biased to its proven sales history on Amazon.
Wow, 70% just for being a top performer already. That sounds like a tough system for, say, new products or smaller sellers to break into.
It definitely could be,
Yeah.
which clearly set the stage for a major shift. And that brings us to the A10 transition.
A10, okay.
Roughly from 2023 through 2025. This period marked a really significant strategic change for Amazon.
How so?
They started balancing making money from ads with, well, improving the overall user experience and fostering a healthier seller ecosystem. It wasn't just about immediate sales anymore.
A bigger picture view then. Interesting. What were some of the really innovative things that came out of A10?
A major one was something called external traffic valuation. A10 began actively rewarding products that successfully brought in valuable traffic from outside Amazon.
Oh, okay, like from social media.
Yeah, things like clicks from TikTok shoppable posts or influencer links, maybe external ads. Those became positive signals. And what's fascinating here, according to the sources, is just how powerful this became. These external clicks could give a 2 to 3 times organic ranking boost.
2 to 3 times, that's huge.
Massive shifts from A9 ignoring it. And the data backs this up. Advertisers who managed to get 15% or more of their clicks from off-Amazon sources saw their advertising cost of sales, their ACSS, drop by a significant 40% compared to campaigns just using internal PPC.
40% lower ACOs. That's a massive incentive to build your brand off Amazon, too. Makes sense. They want people coming to the site.
Totally. Amazon benefits from that traffic.
What else changed in A10?
A10 also introduced seller authority metrics. This meant Amazon started looking at the overall health and performance of the seller's account, not just individual products.
Ah, the seller themselves.
Exactly. They started using a composite seller score. Key factors included the order defect rate, ODR. Sellers who kept their ODR below 1% saw a noticeable 20% to 30% visibility advantage.
Better visibility just for being reliable.
Right. And inventory stability became critical too. Listings with a stockout frequency, how often they ran out of 5% or less, they managed to keep 92% of their ranking momentum when they restocked.
92%.
Yeah, but products that frequently ran out, they only kept 67% of their momentum. Big difference.
That's a serious penalty for being out of stock often.
Definitely. And review velocity was factored in too. Products getting 4 or more verified reviews each week outranked competitors by 1.8 times in similar product areas.
So A10 really started saying, okay, it's not just if you sell, it's how you sell and how reliable you are. Makes sense for the customer.
Absolutely. A10 also saw the definite integration of AI-driven personalization using Amazon's huge machine learning setup like AWS.
Okay, here comes the AI.
Right. This enabled things like contextual bidding. Ad bids could automatically adjust based on real-time factors.
Like what?
Well, for instance, bids might go up by as much as plus 50% for mobile users, or jump plus 75% during peak evening hours, say 7-9 p.m. local time. But conversely, bids could drop by negative 30% if the system saw more than 3 rivals targeting the exact same keywords. It got smarter about competition.
Bidding that changes automatically based on who's searching, when they're searching, and who else is bidding. That's a huge step up.
Adds a lot more nuance, yeah. And A10 also began handling multimodal search more effectively,
Meaning?
meaning the system's ranking sponsored products started processing info from things like image searches and voice searches, not just text keywords, made ads more relevant in categories where visuals are key, like fashion or, when people talk to Alexa.
Okay, so A9, sales velocity, A10, external traffic, seller health, early AI personalization. That evolution brings us right up to now, the current ecosystem.
Right, the 2025 present era. And today's system is truly an interconnected AI network. It's constantly learning, constantly adapting.
So what are some of the standout AI capabilities defining the system today?
Well, one of the most impressive is generative AI being used for creative optimization. Tools like Dynamic Creative Optimization plus O or DCO plus O.
Yeah.
They can automatically create and test trillions of different ad variations, like on the fly.
Trillions. How?
They analyze product feeds using deep algorithms. The sources mentioned deep KNN, processing billions of product details. Then they match those attributes to user intent to generate the best ad creatives.
Okay.
And the impact here, the sources highlight this. These tools can predict the highest performing ad combinations, cutting creative testing time from weeks down to just hours.
Weeks down to hours for testing ad? That's just wild efficiency.
It really is. And we're also seeing live streaming advertising integration becoming a really significant factor in search results. That follows success on other platforms, right?
Yeah, live shopping is big.
And this relies heavily on real-time engagement signals. The data shows if viewers watch a product stream for 3 minutes or more, their purchase intent scores jump by 2.5 times.
2.5 times higher intent.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The system uses a hybrid auction model, a VCG auction for these live stream ad slots. The winner pays based on the total value their ad session added.
Live streams influencing search. It's pulling signals from everywhere, but with all this data, all this personalization, what about privacy, GDPR, CCPA, all that?
Good question. Privacy-centric targeting has become a key development. Amazon is implementing federated learning models.
Federated learning.
Yeah, it's a technique where AI models are trained on user data that actually stays on decentralized devices like your phone or computer.
So the data doesn't all go to one central place.
Exactly. The AI learns from tons of user behavior without needing cross-site tracking or directly exposing personal identifying information, PII. And our sources say this approach keeps prediction accuracy pretty high, around 85%.
85% accuracy while protecting PII. That's impressive.
It is. And Amazon also heavily leverages its first-party data, the info they have directly about customer behavior on their own platform. Advertisers using Amazon's brand analytics data to plan campaigns saw 30% higher CTRs because they were better aligning their ads with what Amazon already knew about customer intent from its own data.
Makes sense. Use Amazon's knowledge. So the current system is this dynamic blend of advanced AI managing creative, pulling in real-time signals like live streams, and navigating privacy while still using Amazon's own data hoard.
That's a good summary of where we are now, yeah. It covered the big picture evolution up to 2025.
And stepping inside that current system reveals even more sophisticated AI.
It does. There's a lot going on under the hood.
Right, so let's drill down a bit. What specific advanced AI components are powering things today? What kind of machine learning models are, running the show?
Well, Amazon doesn't always shout from the rooftops about the exact models for every single function. But our sources point to certain types of sophisticated models that are highly likely in use, or at least foundational.
Okay, like what?
Like LambdaMart. It's likely a core engine for the actual ranking process. It optimizes ad rank based on a mix of historical CTR, CVR, sales velocity, assigning higher weights to ads with sustained strong performance.
And how does it understand the connection between what I search for and a product listing? There are millions of products.
Right. That's likely where transformer-based models come in. Things similar to, say, rank former or BERT variants. These are great at understanding context, really crucial for optimizing rankings for long lists of results.
BERT, okay. Heard of that.
Yeah, BERT variants, for example, help align search queries with product titles and historical engagement data. Our sources note this kind of semantic understanding can improve exact match CTR by 35%, specifically for niche products, making sure those ads are super relevant.
So it's not just matching words, it's getting the meaning. Okay.
Yeah.
What about that challenge for new products? Getting seen when they don't have much history. A9 seemed tough on them.
Yeah, that's a classic problem. Balancing showing proven winners versus giving new things a shot. That's likely handled by something called contextual multi-armed bandits.
Multi-armed bandits. Sounds cool.
Huh, yeah. These models dynamically select which ads to show. They can potentially reduce that cold start penalty for brand new products by 30% to 40%. Gives them a crucial chance to gather data.
30 to 40% reduction? That's helpful.
Definitely. And they also play a role in rewarding ads that drive that external traffic we talked about earlier.
Got it. So AI helps new products get a foot in the door. What about personalization? Showing me ads relevant to me based on my past behavior.
That's likely where neural collaborative filtering, or NCF, comes in. It helps predict ad relevance based on an individual user's behavior history. The sources indicate this can achieve a 19% higher CTR, specifically for returning customers.
19% higher clicks for people who've bought before, because it knows them better.
Exactly. And for things like optimizing bids in real time, maybe factoring in inventory levels or competitor bids, models like Deep Q Networks, DQN, might be used.
It sounds like this current system uses a whole toolkit of different AI models, each doing a specific job.
That's a good way to put it.
And you mentioned multimodal search earlier, images, voice. Does that tie into these models too?
Absolutely. Models like Birch are key there because they enable more advanced semantic mapping and multimodal matching, going beyond just text. The system can process info from image alt text, video metadata, creating visual keyword associations.
Like understanding the picture.
Right. Our sources note that products with 5 or more lifestyle images, for instance, see a 19% higher relevance score for descriptive keywords. The AI is processing visual info as part of its ranking.
19% boost for having good pictures. Makes sense. Okay, it's clear the system right now in 2025 is deeply integrated with some seriously advanced AI that takes us from the evolution to today's engine. But what about tomorrow? What does the future explicitly hold?
Yeah, the sources give us some pretty fascinating glimpses into the future for Amazon's advertising and ranking memory.
Lay it on us. Any specific futuristic tech mentioned?
One really specific technology mentioned as a future development projected for 2026 actually is quantum computing for real-time bidding.
Quantum computing, wow.
Yeah, the idea is that the incredibly complex calculations needed for managing these huge ad auctions in real time could potentially be handled at unprecedented speeds by quantum computers.
Quantum computers running ad auctions. That definitely sounds futuristic. Beyond that specific tech, what are the broader trends or questions the sources raise about the future?
Well, a key projection is that Amazon's ranking memory systems will absolutely continue to evolve alongside AI advancements. AI isn't standing still. It'll likely get even more deeply integrated and sophisticated.
Makes sense.
The sources also raise the question of whether Amazon will incorporate new data sources into future ranking memory. What kind of data? They suggest this is an open area for evolution,
More data inputs.
potentially. And privacy regulations are expected to continue impacting how Amazon maintains and uses detailed ranking memory. That's a challenge that will definitely shape future system design.
Privacy is a constant factor, yeah. What about how people search? Is that changing things?
Big time. Voice search and devices like Alexa, they're expected to play an even larger role in future ranking memory development. Sources state that already 35% of Amazon searches are voice-initiated.
35%.
Yeah. So the system has to adapt. Future ranking memory will need to better incorporate natural language phrases, question-based keywords, how people actually talk.
Alexa find kind of searches.
Exactly. Also, Amazon's expansion into new global markets could affect ranking memory. Will performance data from different marketplaces get integrated or stay siloed? The sources raise that as a point for future evolution.
Global versus local performance. Interesting question.
And just generally, innovations in ad tech across the whole industry could change how Amazon's ranking memory works. It's not happening in a vacuum.
And as AI takes over more tasks, how does that affect the memory part?
Well, as you get increased automation, AI handling more bidding, optimization, creative stuff, the underlying memory of what worked becomes even more critical for the AI to learn from. It's the foundation for its decisions.
The AI needs good history to learn well.
Precisely. And naturally, as these systems get so sophisticated, new challenges and opportunities will inevitably pop up.
The sources also hinted at something called the A11 algorithm. Any more detail there?
Yeah, just hints, but they suggest A11 might go beyond just performance and relevance metrics. It might evaluate things like emotional cues from search patterns, prioritizing products based on user sentiment detected by AI.
Whoa, emotional cues, like how I'm feeling when I search.
Potentially. It adds a whole new layer. We also saw mentions of generative AI further personalizing decay curves.
Decay curves, what's that?
That's the rate at which older performance data loses influence. Instead of a fixed rate, AI might tailor it, maybe per user or per product. So your history might fade at a different rate than someone else's.
Personalized memory fade. Incredibly granular.
Absolutely. And finally, the sources project that these AI-driven tools, generative content optimizers, predictive decay models, they'll become essential for survival, basically. Especially in really competitive markets, advertisers will need them to keep up.
So the future involves cutting-edge tech, continuous AI evolution, adapting to voice search, navigating privacy, maybe even understanding sentiment. It's clear AI isn't just using the memory, it's actively shaping it. Let's zoom in on a fundamental piece. Keywords.
Right. Keywords are still that bridge, aren't they? Between shopper intent and products. And AI is profoundly changing how that bridge works on Amazon.
How specifically is AI changing keywords?
Okay, one key area is predictive keyword expansion. Tools already exist, like Amazon's Product Opportunity Explorer, that use AI to suggest new, latent keywords, things advertisers might never have thought of manually.
How does it figure those out? From where?
It analyzes product features using image recognition, understands customer feelings from review sentiment analysis, like our sources mentioned seeing a 40% increase in customers mention comfort for a product category, prompting comfort keyword.
40% increase just from reviews mentioning comfort.
Oh, yeah. And it identifies related search patterns across different categories. The AI finds connections humans might miss.
So finding keywords you didn't even know were relevant. Cool. What else?
Another big one, auto-optimized match types. Machine learning algorithms are starting to dynamically adjust keyword match types automatically based on performance.
Adjusting broad phrase, exact match for you.
Exactly. So the system might refine a broad match keyword to phrase match if it sees a high CTR, say over 0.7%. Or if a phrase-match keyword has a high CVR, maybe over 15%, it might narrow it to exact match automatically.
Taking over that tedious optimization work.
And the prediction is this could reduce manual keyword management by a significant 60%, while also improving return on ad spend, ROAS.
Reducing manual work by 60%, that sounds like a total game changer for
It really
advertisers.
highlights AI's potential for optimization. And finally, voice search keyword integration. We touched on it, but with 35% of searches starting via voice.
Yeah, that's huge.
Future campaigns absolutely must include keywords for how people talk naturally. Using natural language phrases, Alexa, find affordable wireless earbuds. Question-based keywords, best headphones for running.
Hmm.
Even considering localized pronunciation variants, headphones versus headphones.
So keywords aren't static terms anymore. They're becoming dynamic, AI-managed data points, adapting to search, sentiment, even how we speak.
It's a massive shift in what keyword strategy even means, yeah.
Speaking of shifts, that relationship between paid ads and organic rankings, always intertwined on Amazon. How will AI deepen that synergy?
Our sources point to AI automating and refining this even further. A key aspect is generative AI integration again, especially tools like DCO plus Lay.
The creative optimizer.
Right. But these tools won't just optimize the ad, they'll automate the feedback loops between ad performance and organic rankings.
Wait, so how an ad does automatically feeds back into organic visibility?
That's the idea. Insights from paid campaigns automatically inform and enhance organic strategies. And the sources project this automation will reduce manual keyword testing by 60%. That number again.
60% reduction. Yeah, that figure keeps popping up. It really shows how paid and organic management are merging, driven by AI.
Exactly. It becomes a single integrated strategy. Another area impacting this, leaning towards the future but relevant now, is privacy-centric targeting.
The federated learning stuff.
Right. Federated learning models let AI learn from decentralized data, maintaining ranking accuracy without compromising privacy. This is crucial because the insights linking paid performance to organic rank often rely on understanding user behavior across the platform, which privacy rules impact. So AI needs to maintain that insight while respecting privacy.
So AI is building this more integrated paid organic strategy, even with privacy constraints, blurring the lines.
It really is. And all these pieces together highlight the deeper fundamental role AI plays and will keep playing in the evolution of ranking memory itself.
Let's bring it all together then. AI isn't just using the memory of past performance, it's actively shaping how that memory works, how it's stored, accessed, and how it evolves over time.
Exactly right. AI is the engine processing all this ranking memory data.
Yeah.
Those models we talked about, Lambda Mart for ranking, transformer networks for context, reinforcement learning, like multi-armed bandits for adjustments, they're the intelligence using and shaping that memory. As they get better, the use of ranking memory gets more sophisticated.
And how does AI manage that balance? Focusing on recent performance versus remembering long-term history. It can't just forget everything.
Right. AI is critical there. It balances historical data with real-time signals. The sources mention a power law decay model. Maybe recent data, like the last 30 days, gets 60% weight, while older data decays 8–12% weekly.
Okay, a decay rate.
But AI manages this decay. It ensures relevance to current trends and responsiveness, but it also preserves those crucial long-term signals using models like NCF for personalization. So the system doesn't just forget what worked historically for you or for a certain type of product.
So it strategically remembers, it doesn't just dump old data. What about protecting that memory, making sure it's accurate, not manipulated?
Absolutely critical. AI plays a huge role in handling data anomalies and fraud. Systems mentions like SLIDR use deep learning to detect things like fraudulent CTR spikes, sudden jumps over 300% in real time, usually within 48 hours.
Wow, that fast.
Yeah, protecting the ranking memory's integrity from bad actors. Other models like RCF, XGBoost, DNN also help spot unusual patterns in sales, inventory, even multimodal data.
Protecting the data seems foundational. If the memory is bad, the decisions will be bad.
It really is. And as AI advances, it's driving deeper semantic and intent-driven ranking. Using advanced NLP models like Cosmo and Rufus, the system will understand the true meaning and intent behind searches much better.
Getting the why.
Exactly. Refining how ranking memory influences relevance, moving beyond simple keywords to the user's underlying need. BERT enhancements also help grasp nuanced intent. AI also enables powerful real-time predictive analytics.
Predicting the future.
Sort of. Tools in Amazon DSP use AI to forecast conversions, adjust bids, rankings constantly. Deeper R Plus, for instance, can predict sales velocity with 92% accuracy. That helps counteract data decay and uses past performance to predict future success.
92% accuracy predicting sales, using the memory to look ahead.
Leveraging history to optimize forward, yeah.
Ah,
AI will also enhance external traffic integration further, correlating off-platform engagement, influencer buzz, social media, external ads with long-term algorithmic trust, rewarding brands building demand outside Amazon.
right. That A10 principle strengthened by AI.
Exactly. And as we hinted, the rumored A11 algorithm suggests AI evaluating behavioral, maybe even emotional cues from user patterns, adding sentiment analysis as a potential new layer.
Evaluating emotions still feels pretty wild.
It's definitely out there. AI will also improve trust and authenticity metrics. Beyond fraud detection, large language models, LLMs like Llama 2, might validate product content against reviews, ensuring ranking memories based on accurate product representation.
Making sure the listing matches reality.
Right. And finally, AI, especially federated learning, will drive hyper-personalization, individualized ranking memory based on your personal purchase history while maintaining privacy. The memory influencing what you see could be subtly different from what someone else sees, tailored by AI.
Tailoring the system's memory to me, that's powerful.
And the sources really emphasize, for anyone operating on Amazon, AI-driven tools, generative content optimizers, predictive decay models, tools automating bids, cutting creative testing from weeks to hours with things like DCO, plus they become necessary just to keep up.
It's crystal clear. AI isn't just a future anymore. It's the fundamental engine reshaping how Amazon understands, remembers, and ranks everything.
It's truly at the core, no question.
Wow. We have definitely gone on quite the journey today. Tracing Amazon's advertising system from its simpler beginnings in A9, focused heavily on direct sales and keyword bids.
The sales engine era.
Right. Through the big A10 transition, which started valuing external traffic, seller health, early AI personalization, leading us right up to this incredibly complex AI-driven ecosystem we have now in 2025. We peered ahead, got glimpses of potentially revolutionary future tech, quantum computing for bidding, the intrigue around A11 understanding emotional cues, and just the certainty of continuous evolution fueled by AI, new data sources, more automation.
The pace isn't slowing down.
Not at all. The future of keywords, they're dynamic entities, AI predicting what customers might search for, auto-optimizing matches based on performance, adapting to voice search. That paid organic synergy just gets deeper, with AI automating feedback loops, managing targeting while respecting privacy.
It all becomes more interconnected.
Totally. And underpinning all of it is AI's increasingly sophisticated role-managing ranking memory itself. Processing data, balancing past and present with smart decay models, catching anomalies, driving decisions with deep semantic understanding and predictive power, integrating external signals, maybe even considering behavior and emotion, enhancing trust, driving hyper-personalization.
Catches everything.
So what does this all mean for you? Whether you're an advertiser, a seller, or just shopping on Amazon, it means the system deciding what you see is becoming astonishingly dynamic, intelligent, and personal. For those trying to get products discovered, it's a huge call to action.
Yeah, you can't just set and forget it anymore.
Absolutely not. You need to understand this constant evolution, embrace AI tools to navigate it, and prioritize not just immediate sales, but the signals, building long-term algorithmic trust, consistent performance, positive customer experiences, healthy inventory, even driving that valuable external traffic.
This is a holistic approach now.
It really is. Your past performance, your ranking memory, it isn't just history anymore. It's becoming a critical asset, like algorithmic equity that AI actively uses to determine your future visibility. As AI systems like A10, maybe A11 get smarter, thriving on Amazon means treating this algorithmic memory as a living, breathing, vital part of your strategy.
Well said.
It really leaves you wondering, though, just how far will AI take this system, and what new opportunities and challenges will that create for all of us trying to keep pace?